In this episode of Pop Culture Weekly, it's all about the brand new Paramount Plus film, Little Wing. I talk with the cast and creators. Let's go.
Welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon from iHeartRadio. Your pop culture news, views, reviews, and celebrity interviews on all the movies, TV, music, and pop culture you crave weekly. Here's Kyle McMahon.
Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon, and I am so glad that you're here to hang out with us for another episode of Pop Culture Weekly. This week, it is all about the brand new film on Paramount Plus called Little Wing, which you gotta watch. It's really a great, uplifting film based on a New York Times article a while back from Susan Orlean, who it's based on a true story. So I talk with Susan herself all about, how this came to be in the first place as a story. The original people that this happened to. She talks to me. I talk with her about that, as well as the new film. Along with Susan, I talk with Brooklyn Prince, who's been on the show before for her Apple TV Plus series, Home Before Dark. She's always great. And co-star Shay Tafari. They are really great. They just have this energy and just so talented, so awesome, and so amazing in Little Wing. Additionally, I talk with John Gaddens, who wrote the film. He's written some awesome stuff, including Kong Skull Island, one of my favorites ever, Power Rangers, Need for Speed, Flight with the one and only Denzel Washington, Coach Carter, and more. And I talk with director Dean Israelite. Dean's such a talented director who directed Are You Afraid of the Dark, the reboot series, directed Power Rangers, Project Almanac, which is also so great. Little Wing, it's based on this true story where a girl starts acting out because her parents have divorced, and she finds out she's going to lose her childhood home because, one of the parents just can't afford it. And then she figures out that racing pigeons can be worth a lot of money. So she creates a plan to borrow some racing pigeons and get that childhood home back. It really is great. Let's hop right into it. Let's start with the director, Dean Israelite. Thank you so much for joining me, Dean. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So, first of all, I love all of your work. What drew you to Little Wing?
John Gaddens, who wrote Power Rangers, he and I became close after that movie. And he said, he called me up and he said, "Do you want to read this weird little script I wrote about pigeon racing?" And I said, "Well, John, my father and grandfather were some of the preeminent pigeon racers in Johannesburg, South Africa in the 60s. I'd love to read the script." Wow. And I came for the pigeons and stayed for the people because the characters and their journeys are, so beautiful, I think. And those themes really resonated. So that's how I came to the project. And the moment I read it, I loved it. And, we spent 6 years trying to get it made, and we finally did.
And thankfully you did, because it's such a great film. I love the duality of it. I'm trying to be spoiler free, but there's for me, an allegory there about home. And, the pigeons that in the storyline. Is that something that resonates for you, going into a project like this?
Yeah, to me, I always approach material through the theme. So to me, it's always, what is the movie really about beyond just the story, beyond just what the characters are going through? What is it all dramatizing underneath all of that? And so, yes, the theme of home, of finding a home, of what that means, both externally and also internally and in yourself, the ideas of belonging, that's all very much a part of this movie. And you're right, the pigeons are a metaphor for all of that. And I think the pigeons, to me, are a metaphor for liberation in this film and pushing through crisis and sort of finding liberation on the other side of that.
I love that. And you have worked on so many amazing projects, Project Almanac, Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I love as well, Power Rangers. Doing something like Power Rangers where it has a big budget and then you come and do a smaller budget film, Do they tick off different boxes for you as a creator?
Definitely. I mean, something like Power Rangers, it's really fun trying to figure out how to go about shooting things that, sort of feel impossible to achieve, and the amount of, professionals that you're working with that can bring these massive sort of set pieces to life, the preparation that goes into that, the execution that goes into that, that's really fun. And then something like this, I was really excited to do something that feels more substantive in its themes, and is getting at a lot of these personal, emotional ideas, but without having the trappings of a genre attached to it. So I wanted to do something that felt more character driven and simpler in that way, where every scene is just about the human interaction that's going on screen.
I love that. And finally, what does home mean to you?
I mean, I've moved a lot to different continents. And so to me, it's funny. It's like, I don't associate home at all with a place. I just associate home with like a feeling, and where you feel your best, I think, where you feel comfortable, where you feel, obviously loved. And I'm a father of young children now, and so like to me, like home is all about where my family is. And we could be anywhere, but I don't know. I think it's just the feeling that we all sort of know what that feeling is.
That's great. Dean, thank you so much. Congratulations on the film. I can't wait for everybody to see Little Wing exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks. Dean Israelite. Love hearing his insight on this film, what drew him to it, and more. Next up, let's get into the writers, John Gaddens and Susan Orlean. This is an interesting one. You're hearing the writer of the original story, the article that spawned this film, and the writer of the film itself. Here they are, John Gaddens and Susan Orlean. Thank you both for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Of course. So, first of all, if you don't mind, Susan, I'll start with you. This Little Wing started with a piece from you. I wanted to ask you to just speak on that for a moment, why that story that you were telling then spoke to you,
I love writing about subcultures. I love writing about girls. I love writing about anything that I don't know anything about. And that all came together very completely in this story. I was chatting with a young girl when we were both out walking our dogs, and she mentioned to me that she was raising racing pigeons. And I just, my journalistic instincts kicked in, because I thought, this is the most unlikely thing I've ever heard. A teenage girl doing a sport that I didn't think anyone did anymore, but more importantly, I assumed it was mostly done by elderly men. I just knew I wanted to write about it. And the poignancy of the instinct in a homing pigeon, which is to go home no matter what it takes, that to me was so evocative that I knew I could write a story around that.
I love that. And for you, John, what drew you to this story?
Yeah, no, I had made a movie for DreamWorks, and Steven Spielberg had optioned Susan's article the second that he read it. And he sent it to me, and he and I met, and we talked all about it. And then I got the chance to sit with Susan, and we talked about it. And I then got to meet the girl that she profiled in the story. I went to Boston. I met her and her mom. And then I did more research, and I had more questions for Susan. So she and I kind of stayed in touch on it. And I kind of took her story and kind of tried to extend it to make it this clear kind of coming of age story for a young girl who pulls off a heist and kind of goes toe to toe with this like older Vietnam vet, and the rest is movie magic.
Yes, and it is magic. I love the film. For me, Little Wing is very much a there's this duality to it where the theme for me is home and what that means, and for both for characters in the story and with the pigeons themselves. What does home mean to both of you?
That's a good question, because I've actually moved a lot more in my life than I ever expected to. So while home is a place, really for me, home is family. And wherever my family is, that is home. I'm fairly new to LA, and I've lived in several other places before that. My husband moved 13 times growing up.
Wow.
So, we've got in our personal histories a lot of homes. But really, when we're together, wherever that is, that's home. Being with family is home.
And how about for you, John?
It's funny. I haven't moved as much. Like, my wife and I and our kids have lived in the same house for 25 years. And growing up, I lived in the same house until I went to college. So that I remember anyway. And I keep thinking about the fact that Dean kind of embraced that same, kind of theme in the movie. And there's shots that he intentionally looked for a house that looked like kind of a bird cage, So like that's Cat's home. And the fact that pigeons establish one home in their life, and the fact that she's willing and trying things and pulling off crimes to try to like maintain this balance of what she thinks is home and family. So it's hopefully a theme that comes through in the movie.
Awesome. Thank you both for speaking with me. I can't wait for everybody to see Little Wing exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. John Gaddens and Susan Norleen. I love hearing, what inspired the film in true to life in that respect, as well as the creative liberties that you take when you're making a film, and what changed from the reality to the film version. All right, we're going to take a quick break, 60 seconds to pay the bills. Hang out with me, listen to these sponsors, because they allow me to continue doing this show for you. Be back in 60. Thank you for supporting our sponsors and supporting Pop Culture Weekly. I love you for it. I love hanging out with you and talking all things movies and TV and, streaming and technology and all of it. All right. Last but not least, I talk with the stars of Little Wing, Shay, Tafari, and Brooklyn Prince. Brooklyn has been on the show before for Apple TV Plus's Home Before Dark. Amazing actor. She, of course, was in The Florida Project, which I love, The Florida Project. Marsh King's daughter. She played Dee Dee in Cocaine Bear. And The Turning. And, of course, as I said, she played Mooney in The Florida Project. Incredible actor. And Shay Tafari co-stars along with Brooklyn. He's a great talent himself. He's been in 8-Bit Christmas, Daredevil as Marcus, and he's going to have a big career in front of him. Let's get into it. Shay Tafari and Brooklyn Prince. Thank you both for speaking with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Of course. So first of all, congrats on Little Wing. I really love it. I think it's like a genre bending film that really, it's so layered. And I just think you guys did a great job with it. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
We're certainly proud of the movie ourselves.
I love the movie. I would watch it.
Yeah. I was going to say, did you?
I don't know, like 3-4 times. I would watch it over again.
Yeah, we would watch it over again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, and for both of you, and we can start with you, Brooklyn. What drew you to this role?
What drew me to the role was that Caitlin was, in fact, a typical 13-year-old girl. And I think that's something that we do need to share in the industry. And, I can't say it enough that normalizing 13-year-old girls and their mental health and turning 13 and what it's like to be 13, an accurate depiction is something that just was so beautifully conveyed in the script, and such a character that I had never seen before or ever read before, that I immediately was like, oh yeah, for sure, this is something that I want to do. This is something that I want to at least audition for and just throw my name in the ring for.
That's nice.
And now here I am. It's crazy.
And how about for you?
I mean, I definitely like I love connecting with Adam. Adam is kind of like me in a way. He's an enthusiast. Like whatever like he's interested in, he will go at it and he will learn every possible thing about it. And that's the same thing with me, whether it be like, in something in history, whether it be something in music, or whether it be about like shower curtains, I'll learn everything about it, and I don't know. Shower curtains, how they're made. I'll try to make one myself. I don't know. I don't know. There's so many things that, I could be interested in and just like go in researching everything about it. And, I feel like that's what, I share with Adam. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about like the YouTube rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, no, not even YouTube rabbit holes. I will go to libraries and I will find books on it,
Or he'll go to Reddit. One time he was on FaceTime with me and went down this whole Reddit rabbit hole, and I went
on pigeons.
Within 5 minutes. I was like, Shay, what are you doing?
Yeah, I get so enamored and just I go hard when it goes to like researching stuff like that. Yeah,
I love that. And for me, the film very much has a duality in story-wise with the pigeons and with you both in regards to what is home, and can we always go back home, and what is home, and all of that. What is home for both of you?
Ooh, you want to go first?
Yeah, I feel like home is a lot of things. Home could be physical. I always like to tell people that there's a difference between a house and a home. A house is something physical, but a home is where you spend memories and you have family, and you just have a connection with the home. And I feel like the home, it can be anything, whether it be a house, whether it be a person, whether it be a family, and whether it be yourself as well. There's always home is a place where you feel comfortable and where you have a connection. But also, home is a place where you are comfortable being uncomfortable, and I feel like that's yeah.
Home for me would be anywhere with my parents and my family, including my dogs, because my parents and I and my brother, we really have a special bond, especially in this industry of just like, now if I literally have anything, I'll be like, Mom, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I'm feeling so overwhelmed. And they just literally know me the best, and they take care of me in a way that I feel comfortable than with most people. And so I think home for me is definitely my people, my parents, and my brother, who, if I'm feeling sad, instead of, talking to me, he'll just come and give me the sweetest little hug. And it fixes a lot of stuff. So anywhere with my family is home to me.
That's amazing. Thank you both for speaking with me. I can't wait for everybody to see Little Wing exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Yes. Plus, yeah.
Let's get it done.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Shay Tafari, I'm Brooklyn Prince. I love Little Wing. You will love Little Wing. It really is just one of those heartfelt, it's drama and comedy and suspense. It's just a great film. It is streaming right now on Paramount Plus exclusively. So go check it out. Let me know what you think, and then hit me up on socials, or if you're using the iHeartRadio app to listen, you can hit that talk back button, and it'll send me your voicemail, and I might just play it on the show. You never know. So, all right, next week we got some great stuff for you. I can't wait. Keep it up. Keep in touch with me throughout the week. I love you. I'll see you next week. We out.
Thank you for listening to Pop Culture Weekly. Hear all the latest at popcultureweekly.com.
Little wing, little wing, little wing, little